About 200 k's in, slight damage to the rear bumper.
Oh.
And a bit of mud. A lot of cleaning to do.
Well, I've owned this
Ineos Grenadier.
The quartermaster.
for over a week now,
1,000 k's in.
and nothing's gone wrong yet.
Oh, mud everywhere.
But I've been thinking, is this beast really worth $120,000? And it seems I'm not the only one asking this question. And not only that, I've already got one big regret less than a week after buying it.
And I'm sitting here right now driving it with a slight...
And is it true? Have I abandoned Toyota?
Fair bit of jealousy.
Got to sell one of the cars though.
Starting with one of the harder hitting questions. 120k stock? How is that justified?
That is a very good question. There's a lot of stuff in this vehicle, and that is one of the reasons why I bought it. It's designed with off-roading use. It's got all your tyre sensors, temperature gauging, front and rear solid axle, coils, front and rear.
I mean, I could keep going on.
Off-road systems information.
The nice interior keeps the sound out.
The dual battery system, pre-switched.
Also, I can change them both to lithium because they're not under the bonnet. I'm not too worried about them getting too hot.
However,
You can get a base model that's about 100,000. And with that, you'd still then have to add all these things. And speaking of adding things, with a 70 series, if you wanted parts for parts, like for like, I did a deep dive with some advanced AI.
here are the results for kitting out a 79 series dual cab with the works. Suspension chassis, full conversion kit, drivetrain transmission, ARB bull bar, tow hitch, bash plate, interior comfort, Recaro seats, cruiser consoles, Alpine stereo unit, electrical, BCDC 40, 100 amp hour, deep cycle battery, pre-wired rocker switches, tyres, grand total, parts only.
$75,000 in parts. I checked it. Man, that thing's pretty good at finding bargains. If I'm going to buy something in the future, I'm using that thing.
But there was one thing missing.
Labour cost. So I estimated the labour. Again, super generous.
Up to $94,500.
Let's just round it to $95,000. On top of your $83,000, that's if you bought the 79 series, then you've got to add your tray as well. So we're now talking 180 grand.
I completely understand the fact that not everyone's going to modify their vehicle to this level. However,
That's what you would have to spend to get it to the same level as the Ineos Grenadier.
but there's one thing I haven't touched on yet. Vehicle warranty. Every single thing on this vehicle is covered under warranty. Everything I add to this vehicle would harm the warranty. The more stuff you have to put on it, the less your warranty is going to be worth, and the more you got to spend after the fact.
Returning to the question of $120,000 for a new car. How is that justified? I can't justify the price for anyone, including yourself. There are many things that I can't justify the price for,
How would you justify the price of a Ferrari?
but other people buy it. It's a bit like asking me to justify the price of a 76 series that others would not.
How would you justify a price on a Jeep? But for a car like that, you wouldn't expect this.
Is there a pre-delivery tech anywhere that can screw a number plate on straight?
Crooked, apparently.
Is it? Yeah, that is on the piece. That's all right. I'll change it soon anyway.
But let's get back to the important stuff.
There's only 200cc difference between a 79 2.8 and Quartermaster.
A 6-cylinder straight engine block vibrates a lot less than a 4-cylinder engine, particularly when it comes to diesel. Not only that, it's got 2 extra cylinders, so there would be less stress on the engine in terms of when you're running at higher RPM. The capacity, yes, it is only 0.2 litres more, 200 mil more. How can a 3 litre be so much better than a 2.8? It's to do with the inline 6, and it's got 2 extra cylinders to help it out. Less stress on it. Also having 2 turbos, 1 turbo for lower RPM and 1 turbo for the higher RPM. The engine has been derated, so it's not tuned the same as what you would find in a BMW. Exact same diesel twin turbo engine comes in the BMW X7, produces 250 kilowatts of power and 700 newton meters of torque. However, in this, it's derated down to 183 kilowatts and 550 newton meters of torque. And it's tuned more for your off-roady types. Low-end torque, not your high-end speed. It's not a race car, it's a full drive.
BMW engine. What about maintenance costs?
The service intervals are 15,000. Comparing it to a Land Cruiser, because that's what we are doing, they are 10,000 kilometre intervals. If you use a lot of the full driving or you tow, then you are supposed to do interval servicing in between the 10,000. If you look in the back of a Land Cruiser handbook, it's recommended that you do oils at 5,000 kilometres. So you're actually supposed to do more in between the 10,000. What I might do is, rather than doing it at 7,000 or 7,500, which is half of the 15,000, I'm going to do it at 10,000 intervals.
So one question with the left leg thing. I'm 6'4", so I get you, mate. Is it just a bit of a trim you can modify? I had the same thing with my GU. Remove plastic junk, grind off studs, modify trim, solved.
The left leg thing. It's a left foot thing, mate. What am I going to do about it? I've heard there's a modification. Let me explain it here. I believe it's to do with the exhaust pipe where it's running. There's a void underneath that bit of vinyl that can allow me more space.
Which probably leaves you wondering,
Why is this here in the first place?
although the concept of the Grenadier was born at an English pub,
This vehicle was designed by Europeans. They're left-hand drive cars. So for us Aussies, the instrumentation reversed as to what we're used to. We have to deal with this left foot thing.
but by chopping it,
Because I have heard that you could possibly gain about 70 mil.
however,
I wonder why not many people have done it. Maybe it gets too hot if you do something to that. There might be a lot of heat shielding there. I don't know. Let's find out.
and I guess in reality, it's just
Part of the fun.
Did you choose the diesel engine?
I did choose a diesel engine. If you got petrol engine in Australia and you had the choice of getting diesel, I think you're mad. Petrol was the only option. I probably wouldn't be going for this vehicle, to be honest.
And on the topic of choices I made,
Nice. But why did you buy a black one?
Why did you get black?
Isn't this the worst
It will show
colour
all
you
the
could
dirt.
have chosen in Australia?
Two very good questions. Black car is the worst car you could get in Australia. The heat, the scratches, agreed. So why choose this colour? I'm replacing my old 79 with this vehicle. So I thought it would be fitting to have the same colour. Yes, it will get hot. There's not much I can do about that apart from putting some window shades up. But I am going to wrap this vehicle in PPF. So I'm not really concerned about the scratches at all. All that said, if you're looking to purchase a vehicle, doesn't matter what it is, the lighter colour vehicle, providing it's not a silver, show up scratches way less.
who knows, choosing black could have been a mistake, and that probably won't be the only mistake I've made with the vehicle already.
Considering that you know what you intend to turn this vehicle into, wouldn't it have been better to try for a GVM upgrade pre-rego?
This is a very good question, and I'm going to answer that by I've already made a mistake. Yep, I rushed through getting this vehicle. It would have made much more sense to get it done pre-rego, but I wanted this vehicle now, and I'm sitting here right now driving it with a slight regret that I didn't get it pre-done. But I also figured that many people would be in the same boat. Considering that most people probably wouldn't have a pre-rego done, well, let's see what it takes to get a post-rego done. So why not make this part of the project?
Does it still steer like crap?
Shit, I've gone down a dead end. Aha, well, let's do steering then. Can we do this in one hit? Yes, we can, because this is a bigger cul-de-sac. Well, define crap. The wagon has a turning circle of 13.5 metres. This has 14.5 metres. To give you a reference, the 79 series Land Cruiser has 14 metres. But it is very precise when you're off-road because it doesn't have return to sender. You know exactly where your wheel's pointing.
However, that doesn't necessarily make up for the limitations of having such a long wheelbase.
With the wheelbase being really long, is that going to be an issue? Taking to the Mundaring power lines, I did get bellied out going up one of those hills.
Definitely bottoming out there. Actually got hung up on a section just down there.
So you see there is where the tow ball was bottoming out, and here, sidestep. What a rock slider. Right there.
Got out of it.
A lift 100% is required on this vehicle. how high will I go? As high as I can legally. What was wrong with the wagon? Nothing wrong with the wagon. In fact, I've got two wagons. I've got the 76 series and I've got the 250 Prado. I've also been hanging to get back into a dual cab with a tray on the back. That there replaces the void of my 79 series Land Cruiser. A half canopy, full canopy. What's the story behind that? I mentioned versatility. That's what's going to be the key about this vehicle. I want to have it so it's adaptable. I can appreciate the fact not everyone can afford to do a tray, half canopy and full canopy. And I don't need to do that myself. I am doing it for you. If you want to know the difference between having a full canopy and a half canopy, or you can't make up your mind if you want a canopy, hopefully I can help you with that. It's going to unveil different options, different reasons why you would do A rather than B or C. Why I think I'm going to use a half canopy for this situation, why I think I need a full canopy for the other situation. That's what the whole thing's about. I'm the guinea pig.
Let's find out.
However, buying a vehicle and doing all this obviously isn't cheap, which leads me to...
Got to sell one of the cars though. It's a tough call to make.
What are you getting rid of for the fleet? What is this replacing?
We'll talk about that later.
Was that Liam Duggan?
Sure is.
Is that you?
It is me. It's really me.
What you're seeing right now, you can see a lot more questions with Duggo and myself and Jaden behind the screens over there. Maybe I'll get a shot of him before I go. Maybe I won't. Depends if I remember.
Will the Grenadier ever reach the capabilities of the 79?
100% there's potential, but
You're going to go to BMW, what's the go?
unless you bring attention to it, they're not going to go looking for it. But jump over, because anything I haven't covered on the channel will be covered here more in depth.
But before that, here is the exact moment and reactions from the boys when they'd realised I'd actually bought a Quartermaster.
All right, so I've just rocked up to the podcast. Parked next to Duggo. Parked next to the Cruiser. The podcast is released on Friday, but I don't release my video till Sunday, so we can't talk about this inside, but I have to keep their mouth shut during this, about this car, and it's going to be very difficult for them. Can I borrow for a sec?
Yeah.
Can you take that?
Yep.
Okay.
Please. Hey lads.
Hey mate, how are you?
Hey.
Good. You got a minute?
Yeah.
That's damn good.
Just turn that way for a sec. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll get you to jump out so you can get a reaction when they come out.
Yep.
Oh no.
Oh,
Have ya? Have you bought this?
really?
Yep.
Prado.
Bought it Monday.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Did Ronnie buy the Grenadier to tempt Duggo to change/buy it off him?
Oh my God. Would you choose this over a 79 dual cab?
You're not going to take me back there, are you?
That's an expensive prank, isn't it?
Yeah. Very.
Did I get you, Duggo?
Anything for a laugh. Anything for a laugh, this guy. It's incredible. It's incredible.